Welcome back to Cherry Picking. Today, you're going to see the interior of this 1967 F250 go from this and then to this when it's actually done. So, yeah, jump to that. Now, the goal in today's video is simply just to make the interior about 100% nicer than it is now. As you can see, this truck has a lot of stuff going on. Besides all of that, this truck still has the classic Ford tinniness into it that does not go away. Actually, the door stop's not that bad, to be honest. There it is. But they have that horrible tinny noise because there's no sound deadening behind the seat, behind the gas tank. There's no sound deadening in the doors, and there's no sound deadening in the floor or on the firewall, as well as no heat insulation. So, our goal for this video today is to completely revamp this entire interior, top to bottom, full insulation, cleaning, insulation behind the gas tank, hopefully changing out these seats. As I'm recording this, I don't actually have my bucket seats yet, but it will be getting bucket seats. Hopefully by the end it has bucket seats, as well as redoing the door panels, making them look correct, putting an actual correct stereo in here, insulating everything, putting carpet down, redoing the dash, putting a new dash pad in, just cleaning it all up, putting all new weather strip in all of these spots right here so that we have an actual sealed cab. So yeah, that's pretty much the goal for today's video, and I'm going to be doing this in chunks, so you're going to all see this at one time. But for today, my biggest goal is simply to get that old, crusty, nasty dash out. I only have a few things I want to do today, and that's numero uno. That is the only and biggest thing that I care about, is getting this dash out and starting to prep this dash that's going to go in. As you can see, this dash has seen better days, but with only one major crack through it, it's actually still a really soft and supple dash. Even though it doesn't look like it, even at the crack, it's still extremely soft. And around all the edges, the foam is still extremely soft. So this dash is completely savable for my needs. Is it perfect? No. But is it usable? Yes. All of the studs, I believe, are there. And the crack does run through and over, which kind of sucks, but if you compare it back to the dash that's in this truck, I'm sure you'll understand my reasonings for wanting to switch it out. Now, let's get this dash out. Okay, let's get in here. I've got all 13 undone. So realistically, this is supposed to just slide forward. You can actually see when you look on the nuts, there's a gap in the top of the dash. There's a slot about that big. So it should slide forward and then lift up and out. Now, it's gonna be pretty tight, I think. Yeah, they're pretty well stuck to the dash. So you might wanna, gotta pop them off. Should just be able to lift up, although it is going to be still glued on there. Okay, so as I said, it comes forward a little bit, and then it just kind of tilts out. Ooh, and there you go. And there is my absolutely garbage pads. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and vacuum up all the crap that's in the back of the dash there that has accumulated over the past few years, or 40 years, and just get all that nasty crap out of there. We'll clean the dash, and we'll go ahead and start working on that dash and getting that clean. Okay, so it's the next day. Some things happened. I tried this vinyl repair, but as you can see, I ended up peeling it all out. It was really gummy and didn't seem to like harden up and all. What we are doing right now though is I'm going to try to get a new shift ball We don't have a shift ball for the shifter, and the one off my old truck, because the T18 has a larger sized thread on the shift lever, so I got to make a new one. And so what I'm going to do, same as my old one, because my old one was also a 7 ball, is make a shift knob. So I'm just in here figuring out the position I want it to be, because it's not going to be straight up and down on here. It's going to be slightly to the side. And so pretty much just going to get it where we wanted, mark it on the bottom, and then we're going to drill it out and tap it and throw it on. All right, it's the next day again. I didn't realize that my battery had gone out, but I got it in. It was just a touch off center, so it hangs over a little bit more on this side than it does on this side, but it's totally fine and it works. And I've got a working shift knob, and the reason that I like using the 7 ball is, one, this is a 67, so I like having the kind of notation of it. I know it's dumb, but I think it's cool. Plus I like the color because it actually matches the color. It's kind of hard to see, but it matches the color on my steering wheel that's bleeding through. So they kind of match, and I like that. And it's also got the white and the black that kind of matches. So it doesn't matter. I have a shift knob now. I like it. It's exactly the same as the one that came off, just slightly different. Moving on to the dash. We are going to paint the dash today. After looking at this stuff and kind of letting it cure a little bit more, I've decided what we're going to do, because of the way this dash flexes, is we're going to go and just paint it as it is, and then we're going to set it in the truck. And once we set it on the spot where it's supposed to go in the truck, we'll go ahead and put a little bit of Bondo in these cracks when it's in there, and then sand it down and repaint just this section here. Okay, I'm pretty much ready to paint it. I wiped it down with some wax and grease remover paint prep, and I'm going to go ahead and use this first. It's plastic adhesion promoter. It's just going to help the vinyl dye bond better. Okay. So about 6-8 inches away. Okay, we've got 3 coats. I just put the 3rd coat on just now, and as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell with the shadows, but if you look in the spots like right here, it's nice and parchment. It actually looks pretty freaking good. I'm pretty happy with it. Of course, the crack is still there. All right, we're out here at our door panel and take it apart. And the door crank off, or window crank off. Pop right off, and as you can see, it used to have some backing on it. It no longer does. I am going to fix that. Not only will this have backing, but all of this will also have backing, as well as the door itself. Well, my package of stuff came, and look what just came. These are the division bar strips that go here in the vent with the division bar, as well as our brand new arm guard armrest pieces that have little grips in them to pull. And I believe loosen this one. This kind of comes up. I believe it's got it go. That one. Okay. That one was in much worse shape. It was a lot harder to get out, and they break a lot easier on that one. So that took me a little while. I had to chisel out every single piece, but it's clean and it's not rusty at all. So I guess I can say thank you for, saving it. But now it's all over the ground. I got to clean it up. But at this point, we're going to put in the window rubber, because this rubber goes first. The channel run goes first. So we're going to put this in. And then I believe the vent window, so then we'll put the division bar rubber in. And all of these, by the way, just get pressed in. You could weather strip glue them if you really cared, but they do have a lip all around the inside, and they're just made to be pressed in to that lip. I don't know if you can see it in there. And to be honest, I don't care that much. It's gonna stick fine. I've had no issues with the other cars I've done it on. And then after the vent window, we put the vent window back in, and we put our felts, our window felts in. It goes here, here, and there, yeah. Okay, I know that the part down here is gonna be a pain in the butt, but luckily I can get my hands in it pretty easily. Make sure it's all flush, because it should be pretty flush with the actually went in super easy. Your division bar strip, which to be completely honest is identical to the rest of this stuff. So why they sell different pieces, I don't know. If I were you, I'd just buy yards of it, measure out how much you need, because I have no idea how much this is, and just buy it by the foot, because it's probably a lot cheaper. So as you can see, this one has a pointy side, and I believe the pointy side goes up, if I'm correct. Yeah, so we're gonna make sure the pointy side goes up. This is slightly different than this felt. It's like a different material, like flocked almost, whereas the other one is like a fuzzed rubber. I guess that's the same thing, but I don't know. But as you can see in the channel there, it will just kind of crimp into place. Get it in there. Yeah, and I'm pretty much just pinching it, as you can see, and then shoving it in there. Carefully do exactly the reverse order of how we did it. So we're going to drop in our little screw, drop it in, drop in our window, make sure we go behind our, oh, I gotta move the window back. These do, I believe there's an inside and outside, but there might not be, because they do look identical. Yeah, they look completely identical, so same as the other ones too. I don't see any difference. I've seen ones that have rubber on them. These just have like a felt. I think they are cheaper. So these are a little fun, because you do have to actually get these just in the right spot. Okay, so I've got the felts in. I didn't realize battery died, but I got the felts in. I'm not a huge fan of how they fit, to be honest. I think in the future I might buy better versions, and if anyone has links to better versions, these ones suck. They're way too cheap, they're way too badly made. They're too tight on the window, but they're too loose in the actual spot. Like you can see on the outside, this one is actually sticking out from the door because the clip doesn't actually keep it tight in the channel. And as you can see, you can actually see it push against the door here when you lift the window up, and when it comes down, it pulls them back out. I did go ahead and put some kill mat in the door. I didn't realize my battery had died, but so I put some in. I have 2 sheets down here. I was able to fit 2 full sheets of this kill mat, completely side to side, plus some room to spare. And then 1 entire sheet up here, which just went up, and that fit perfectly between the bolts for the window, the mirror, and the bolt for the door handle. So it fit perfectly up there. So I thought 1 sheet was fine, and 2 sheets down here. And then I have a sheet on the back side of this panel. I already had a pre-cut sheet that was about this size. So I just put it on the back here. And so it just helps a little bit right here. And then this helps a lot. It's crazy how much difference, and I'm not even done, because I'm gonna also put some kill mat here and here and a little bit over there, as well as on the back of this door panel. But it is crazy how dramatically different this door sounds now with a sealed window that doesn't rattle, like it doesn't move at all. And the door, so I think something in the door lock, because I know I have a broken door lock, something in here rattles, but I'm running a little bit out of steam here, but I'm going to go ahead and get this kill mat on and on this, and then put the door panel back on and put everything back on. I'm not going to be able to paint or dye the handle tonight. It's getting way too windy out here. I live in the desert. It just picks up every time at 2 or 3 o'clock. It starts to pick up like it did over there. So let's put the kill mat on and put the door panel back together. Okay, so I pretty much got my kill mat on. I've only decided to put a single mat on this because basically everywhere else on this door has kill mat. So it's the in-between of 150. 80 mils, I think a good compromise. I think 100 mil you're getting a little too heavy and a little too thick of a material, and 50 mil really is pretty light. So it's honestly better for thin spots, which honestly might be right good where I put all these, since this butts up right against it. But I think 80 mils are good in between. Plus, it's their most common, best-selling. I'm gonna kill mat slash, Dynamat, boom mat, whatever you prefer. Basically my entire truck. So I'm gonna do both doors. I already have, I think, 5-ish just in this door. I'll have 5-ish in that door. I'm gonna do the entire roof. I'm gonna do the entire floor if I can, or at least the majority of it, especially there at the firewall, and especially down in the footwell area where the exhaust radiates to the floor. And that's actually one of the big issues in this truck. The floor gets extremely hot because of the exhaust. And then once that's all done, I'm going to go back behind the seat and do behind the gas tank. I have to wait to empty out my gas tank before I can take it out, because I'm not going to take it out full of gas. So I'll drive it until it's empty, and then I'll go ahead and do the entire back area, because that's also a huge vibration reverb part of these old trucks is in the back of the cab here. It's extremely tinny sounding and boomy, and this stuff will just completely get rid of it. As I already showed you, it's a dramatic difference. So now that I have all that said and done and my whole spiel about that is done, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this door panel on for good for now. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the door real quick. And one more thing on that kill mat. You need to clean the surface that's going on, but you don't got to clean it that well. I actually just took straight up Windex, which for some reason I use as an all-purpose cleaner, even though I know it's not, but it works so well. And basically cleaned the interior of this door panel with, or interior of the door with Kleenex, and it works fine. The butyl petroleum is so aggressive, so to say, that you really don't got to worry about cleaning it that well. It'll stick on there as long as you press it down hard enough with the rollers, because you got to roll it on. It'll be fine. Let's call it there for now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the dash and bring it in and see if I can set the dash inside the truck. All right, so I'm gonna try to carefully all right. Okay, so it's 2 days later, only a second later for you, but let me show you what's going on. Yesterday, I was working quite a bit on some other things, so I didn't really have time to work on this very much, but I did get this door fully rebuilt with all the seals. So it's got brand new seals, and it's got all Dynamat or kill mat, same exact as the other door, same exact process. This one actually went in a little bit easier. I ended up cutting these felt pieces before trying to fit them in, and this window is actually a lot smoother. It's not that hard to roll up and down. The rubber itself, I don't know if you can even see that, it doesn't fit as well in the vent window as it did on the other side. For some reason it won't just sit in at this upper portion. It might later, and I just gotta keep working it in maybe. I am currently working on these, and actually I gotta go ahead and wipe these down with, what's the word? With acetone. Okay, I'm a little tired, but I haven't even done that much. I've got the dash panel tightened back up, so it is on here and it's tight. I've got the dash back in and the speedometer cable connected, because I did put in a new speedometer cable yesterday. I think I forgot to mention that. So I did do a new speedometer cable and finally got it back in, and I got the whole dash in, and I went ahead and chrome polished all of the rings around it while it was out, and also wiped down the gauges so they're nice and clean. I also went ahead, and I'm still working on it, but I also went ahead and chrome polished while I had it out all of these knob faces, these bezel faces, as well as my horn button. And as you can see, it looks way better. I mean, these things were so dirty and grimy, and they still got a little bit on the inside that's just hard to get. I'm gonna go ahead and try to go in there with a screwdriver and a paper towel or a rag and clean it out, as well as I need to clean these knobs. But they just look so much better. And in case you don't know, this is one of the 67 only special parts. The radio is a very unique radio to 67. No radios fit in this gauge cluster, or in this bezel in the dash. You cannot find a radio that has a short enough distance from knob to knob to fit correctly. So every 67 you ever see is cut on the dash, virtually. Just so that people could fit radios, because no radio fits in here. But these are AM only 67. They're pretty hard to come by because so many people threw them out or just didn't order them. A lot of these were never even ordered with a radio. A lot of them just had a radio delete plate, which are also 67 only if you find a 67 only radio delete plate, because they only fit this size bezel. You can't put other radio delete plates from a 68 and up in here. It doesn't fit. And as well as the heater controls. In the 67, this is what's called the deluxe heater controls. There was a single or standard heater control that would actually just be, I believe, this fan high off and pull for heat knob right here. It would be just this, and it would be over there where that plug is on the dash, or one of those. And then there would be nothing here, and it would be completely blank. Those are pretty hard to find now, because honestly a lot of people opted for the, I believe, $20 or $30 deluxe heater upgrade in 67, unless it was a fleet truck or something like that. So these bezels as well as the knobs are 67 only and are really special. And as you can see, my temp one has been kind of caved in compared, and these are really scratched. They're so hard to get that I just kind of haven't done anything yet to them yet. I got to clean them up, and I'd love to pop this back out, but they're just impossible to get. Same with my lighter over here. I just dropped it. Lighters are 67 only, because in 68 this knob changed to a plastic cover over it, because they realized how bad of an idea it was to put a hollow aluminum button on this surface. And as you can see, it's concave now instead of convex like it originally would have been with this slight point. These are how I could probably touch it now. These are how the armrests turned out. Pretty good, actually. I would say they look pretty good. There are some blemishes and things because these were cast, and you can see lots of little holes. I don't know if you can see those, but I can. Lots of little holes in them. So the paint kind of just sunk in to a lot of those holes, and I tried to fill them, but like you can see right there, I think that's the best. That right there, it's not a scratch or anything. That's just a deep hole in the actual rubber casting. There's a ton. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my headliner and my sun visors out and my mirror, because I'm going to chrome polish my mirror, because I've never done it and it's actually really bad. That'll be a huge transformation. I'll show you that. And same with my visors. The visors themselves are nice, but I have new rubber ends for them, and I just want to clean up the ends. And then I got to take my headliner out so I can start kill matting my headliner. Now we're moving on to the headliner. I'm going to try to see if I can try to get the headliner trim off without taking off the visors. I am going to take off the rear view mirror though. I believe it's only held on with 3 screws, 2 down here and 1 up here, because this thing is extremely pitted, and if I turn you around, you can see how rusty and pitted this is, but it's going to have a huge transformation. So we're going to go ahead and take that off. It mimics the Ford headliner used in 67, because it's basically the same thing. It's a cardboard perforation thing, but it's not at all the same. It's not a Ford headliner at all. This is from a Chevy van. I don't even know why. I just remembered that, but we got this headliner like want to say a year into me driving the truck and going to a junkyard, and we were in a Chevy van getting parts for something. I don't even remember what. And we looked up and went, oh, that headliner looks oddly familiar. Okay, as you can see, the headliner's out, and it was pretty easy to do that. Just had to take my time, be careful, go slow. Had 10 other things happening around me, but it wasn't too bad, and it's a few screws. The hardest part actually is getting it out of here alone and finding a place to put it where it's not going to fly, because the wind's picking up right now. So we now have a super loud and boomy roof. Okay, it's been a few months. I think like 2 to be exact. Since I've actually gotten to do much more work on this thing. But we're going to continue on what we've been working on, which is getting the interior nice again. And over the next, say 2 or 3 days, we're hopefully going to have this thing in tip-top shape. So, I also did, when you saw it just a second ago, I was working on the headliner. Well, apparently my camera had died or something filled up. I'm not entirely sure, but it stopped recording. Basically, I got the rest of the kill mat in, and then I also put a layer of jute. I sprayed it and attached it to the kill mat. The next 3 days, 4 days, depending how long it takes me, is going to be a lot more fun, and it's going to be the biggest transformation yet. So what I'm doing today, we're going to be getting this entire interior stripped. So basically, we're going to get the seat out, we're going to get any of this random crap on the floor out, we're going to take these off, and we're going to take our gas tank out, right there. And the reason we're doing that is because we get to completely redo the entire floor. And by redo, I mean basically just putting a bunch of kill mat on it and then putting a carpet in. But the big reason we're doing this now is because I happen to get really lucky, semi-lucky, and get myself, don't mind the junk everywhere, a pair of 67, these are actually Cougar seats, but they're identical to Mustang seats. So I have myself a pair of 67 bucket seats. And I bought 67 to 72 bucket seat frames for the bump side Ford. Now, these have to be completely torn apart, blown apart, and I do have new foam for them, as well as new seat covers that should be here tomorrow. I'm actually really excited about it. I got an amazing deal, not only on these, which were basically free to me, but also on the seat covers themselves. If you know anything about interior, you know it's expensive, especially when it comes to seat covers. So I got really lucky. I knew I wanted to get parchment seats, and I knew I wanted them to be 67, because the goal again for this truck is to make it a King Ranch if Ford would have done it in 1967. So bucket seats were a must, because the plan is to put a center console in here. Still looking for a center console at the moment. Here's our carpet. So it is from ACC, and I went ahead and made sure that I got the best possible carpet I could get, because I didn't want to just get black carpet, because, well, my interior is parchment. It didn't come with black carpet. It came with a fawn sandalwood or light parchment carpet. ACC clearly has the best carpets you can get on the market, but the good thing I like about them, besides the fact that they're a nice quality carpet and they are almost exact to original standards, I didn't get super plush because I don't like the way the super plush or the plush look. I got 80/20, which is the closest looking to what would have been stock. Part of me kind of regrets not getting the nylon, only because I want durability more than anything. But let's get this out of the way. But I want the most insulation possible, because I live in the desert and it gets hot here. In fact, today's going to be probably over 100 degrees casually. It has been for the past week, and it's going to be for the next week. So I'm using that to get this thing going. But what mass backed is for an extra basically $80, which is a lot of money, but it's totally worth it. They thermally bond this rubberized material to the back of the carpet, which not only makes it a lot stiffer, but it provides a lot of heat and sound insulation just from this. So I could put nothing down on the floor, and this would probably do 90% of my insulation. But we're basically going to take it and just unfold it. Yeah, that looks real nice. And for a lot of people that are thinking, why didn't you go black? Because none of my truck is black. So, simple as that. We're just going to let that sit out for a while. Now I'm going to show you these real quick, just to show you. These are the bucket seat brackets. These are brand new ones, and I actually got these from Auto Crafters. They're probably the best resource for unusual and hard to get Ford parts. They were about 250 bucks, just over, I believe. And if you want to put bucket seats in, this is the way to do it. You could get an original set, but they are so hard to come by, and they are so unusually rare because so few vehicles had bucket seats, that ever since they started making these, this was the best way to go. So I basically have, I believe, 6 bolts, maybe 8. I think 6 bolts to take the seat out, and I'll have to have help for that. I have bolts for each one of the seat belts, including the one right here on each side. And then I do need to take my shifter out. I don't know if I'm going to do that right this second. I will need to take my column out. I don't know if I'm doing that right this second. Take all this crap out, and then take the gas tank out, which is, I believe, like 3 bolts? Question mark? Give or take 3 bolts, maybe some more. Okay, totally forgot to record taking out the gas tank. My bad. Or not the gas tank, the seat. Just kind of came and did it because I needed help. But now we're on to the gas tank. Now this is not a stock gas tank for a 67. This came out on a later truck. I don't remember exactly what. Well, turns out there was still about 4-ish gallons of gas in the tank, even though my gauge read basically completely empty. So it's good to know that I have fuel. It is empty now, so it's still heavy. Okay, that's the fuel tank. Now we have access to this. As you can hear, it's super echoey. Okay, so I don't know what I was doing here, but I got the Cougar seats out, and basically I just took the tops off. There's just 2 pins on each side, and then we cover them also, and cover the outside. Now for this Auto Crafter set, they sent these spacers. The spacers go between the slider and the bracket to allow space. Okay, so we have our seat bottom bolted to both sides, and it's pretty snug. I had used the spacer on both sides. We have our stock bolts, seat bracket bolts, and it's going to line up on the outer bolt hole, just like that. It's perfectly comfortably. So it turns out, funny enough, once you bolt these in, and once I put this in, it might be hard for the camera to see it all, but there's actually a little dimple right in the center of the hole here. And if you look on this side, there's a dimple right there and a dimple right there at the front. There's also one here, don't know what that's for. But those 2 dimples are where the bolts for these brackets line up. I don't know if this is a early and late model thing, if this is on all bump sides or if this is just on 67s or on some car, I don't know. But what I do know is that the dimples are there for the seat brackets. They line up perfectly. So I don't even have to mark anything. All I have to do is take this off, drill my holes, my brackets will go in fine, and then I can continue putting all the insulation in here. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just start with an 1/8 inch bit just to make sure I have my hole. Move up to 7/16, which looks to be correct. Front first. I pretty much got everything right now laid out. That's a new emergency brake cable because mine is melted. And basically every single thing is done to move on to the insulation, but I'm gonna have to stop for today. I'm gonna go ahead and just deal with this tomorrow morning. I'll get it cleaned up, I'll get the clutch rod fixed, I'll get it cleaned up, I'll get kill mat on it, I'll paint those things, and then we will paint our column, and then we'll move on to the firewall and then the carpet. See you in the morning. Alright, we are up bright and early today, and the wind is already coming in. But we're up bright and early. I had to make a run to the Home Depot, pick up some satin enamel as well as some etching primer, self-etching primer for our metal pieces, like all of our new brackets and anything else that's basically raw metal. I have to get these pedals painted so that they look a little bit nicer, and I have to get the steering column painted so that it looks a little bit nicer. And my hope was to do it this morning, early morning. It's about 8:15 right now because it's been windy the past few days. I couldn't paint yesterday because it was so windy, and today I was hoping to paint before it got windy, but it looks like it's already starting to build up, so we're gonna have to work pretty quick here. The biggest thing is getting the steering column and these pedals painted. Okay, I'm basically just using soapy water and a scrub brush. Go ahead and clip this thing right there. Just kind of spray this thing down. So again, I'm going to be using this SEM color coat that's technically for plastics and vinyl surfaces. However, it'll work just fine on our metal surface. All right, I've got about 3.5 coats, I think. I don't know. Just kind of get sprayed. I'll probably put one more coat on it, but this is pretty much what it's going to look like. As you can tell, it's not perfect. There's some chipping from the old paint that could have scraped off with a brush, but honestly, this is pretty good, I think. Let's just carefully turn it around here. Yeah, it's got some chipping from the old paint, so it's not perfect. But especially up here, that too looks pretty good. Okay, so I've got 2 coats on the pedals. I ended up doing all of them with the etching primer. They look pretty good. As you can see, I've got a little setup here that kind of covers as much as I can. I'm mostly spraying from this direction. I am spraying a little bit this direction, but I have this thing tucked up in here so that it doesn't blow into the part that you actually can see. The column which I have unwrapped, and as you can see, it actually looks pretty good. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned the entire cab. You can tell, but it sure looks a lot cleaner in here, especially up there. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. This was part one of the interior restoration on my 1967 F250. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm really trying to get better at these videos, and I'm working on them as fast as I can. I'm hearing all your feedback, and I really appreciate it. Even if it's negative, it helps me to get better. So thank you so much, and thank you again for watching. If you want to watch part two, it'll be up next week, where we actually finalize the rest of this interior and get it looking just right. So I'll see you next week, and thank you again for watching. Peace.